Hello everybody, welcome back from Dungeons and Starships. So I decided to take a brief couple of seconds at the start of this video to thank everybody who's responded to the last video that I put out, which was talking about the problems health-wise I've been through over the last few months, and talking about recovery period that I'm still going through at this point in time. So this is why the videos are a little bit sporadic at the moment, but I'm trying to get them done as and when I can. It was nice to hear a lot of people come out and talk about their own situations and to offer some advice going forwards, and it's a lot of things that I've tried to put into to play myself. So I'd like to say a big thank you out to the community and anyone who's just generally just sent me a message of get well soon, etc, etc. Now, in that last video I talked about using hobby as a means of therapy for my own recovery, and I talked about some of the things that I would look forward to doing in the downtime that I had of being away from work, and see if I could use any of the hobby itself to aid in my rehabilitation. Now, one of the main things that I have been struggling with since I've come out of hospital is a bit of my fine motor control in my fingers and my hands. I mean, it seems a lot of the time it's a very pins and needles feeling in my fingers. My grip strength is not really there at the moment. So things like painting and modeling could be problematic, and I thought to myself, well, this is a good opportunity to have a look and see if there is any products, anything out there in the gaming community that can help myself, and that hopefully I can suggest to you as well, and see if you guys, if you are suffering from the same problems, or you know someone who is, might be able to make use of. Now, with the modelling, we're going to talk about more about the painting side this way in, because most of us will have decided that if we do any kind of painting for a prolonged period, we'll have organised ourselves a set of paintbrushes that we enjoy using, and therefore will be very reluctant to maybe try and use something else, and would basically just bypass this bit of the hobby until we feel a bit more able. There are companies, and the first solution they're going to offer, there are companies who do offer brushes with a slightly different handle that we get normally. The one on screen is slightly thicker along the main shaft, but also includes that slightly much larger knurled ends towards the ferrule, where you'll actually be putting your grip strength from your fingers against. And I come across these brushes because my partner, who's recently taken up painting herself, does suffer from various things like arthritis, etc, etc, where using smaller tools and stuff like that can be a bit problematic. So she decided to buy herself a set of those brushes with the different handle, and to be quite honest, it was nice and easy for me to get chance then to try them out for myself and see if they were able to alleviate the problem of being able to grip and, more importantly, actively control something that's a bit more streamlined in a normal standard brush that I would normally be using. Now, obviously these products are designed to fit a criteria, and they're designed to fit a criteria about someone who does struggle with the grip strength itself, and for the job they do, they do it well. But there are two minor cons that I'd put against this. First of all, is being that if I was to go down this road, it would mean buying a new set of brushes for doing my hobby, and to be quite honest, being off work, etc., etc. Obviously, something that's going to be a slightly more financial outlay is probably not the way that I'm going to go. If I was to, go with any solution. Secondly, unfortunately, I think they're just a bit too small again still for the weakness in my grip strength. I think I need something a bit more robust, something a bit thicker, and to be able to use um, a product that I could probably um, tailor to my own uses, so to speak. So as such, I'm going and having a look at a few different solutions that I could use to put on the brushes that I've already got. Now, the second option was something I stumbled on a Facebook forum, and they talked about a bandaging material. Now, this bandage is a self-adhesive bandage, which means it sticks to itself, so it's easy to peel off and reseal onto whatever you're putting it on. Now, the benefits of this is obviously we can use this to create as larger gripping area as we want, as thick as we need it for our own purposes. It's slightly softer to the touch than being a solid handle, because it gives you that kind of little softness that the bandaging will do. And plus the fact that it can be easily removed from the brushes once we decide that we don't need it anymore, or whether we want to shift it between different brushes. The good bit about it is that however they get to use the adhesion in the material itself, it only really sticks to itself and doesn't really adhere to whatever you're wrapping it around, and will not leave, as far as I know for the time being, not leave any kind of adhesive residue behind on the actual brushes themselves that you'd have to clean up and make your brushes sticky and tacky and all the rest of it if you go to use them again in the future. So it's a good all-round solution. The roller tape itself is a couple of pounds from most larger chemists. I mean, I picked mine up in the chemist of a major retailer when we were going around shopping. So it's easy to get hold of. You can get it in a couple of different colours as well if you wanted to. I mean, we got the white one, but I know there's a blue version as well. So if you wanted that one, if you wanted to be a bit more aesthetic with the wrapping solution, then you could go that way with it. So nice and easy, nice and straightforward solution that's not going to break the bank. So again, something that's that's going to be worthwhile me maybe looking at for the future. Now, the one other hobby that my partner has is crocheting and knitting. So as such, we thought to myself, well, is there something in the crochet market that's probably aimed towards people who do suffer from things like arthritis and stuff like that? Because it is generally, and I know get spoilers here from people saying that people of all ages crochet and knit and all the rest of it, but a large demographic of people who are into that pastime are slightly older, and therefore will probably be suffering more acutely from these problems that we're coming across. So I thought to myself, so let's have a look and see if there's any solutions that from that area that we could bring across and see if we can put into our hobby. Because a lot of the time, this is what we do, especially in hobby. We nick things from different hobbies and put them off and make use of them in our own hobby itself. Now, while going through on a web search, I just put in about crochet handles, and I was quite surprised with the amount of different solutions that come up. There was a number of different ones, from the slightly more expensive bespoke handles that you could swap between the needles that are used in that pastime. But the one that's come across was a small packet of 5 of these. Just a quite simple foam handle or foam tube with a central hole for it, for actually pushing the needle into, and then giving yourself a lot more of a grip strength, or no, a lot more area for you to grip hold of, and to make it easier for you to use the tool that you wanted, or use the brush. Yeah, I'm sold on these. They're literally £5 for a packet of 5, and I've bought a couple of packets worth, and I've basically doctored all my brushes with the handles themselves. I mean, they come in a number of different colours, different hole sizes through the centre. So if you have got slightly bigger brushes with a slightly bigger handle, you can make use of the different sizes. And plus the fact that because they're different colours as well, it's easy to differentiate between the different size of brushes. But these ones are an absolute godsend. Big enough for my hands, big enough for my fingers. I've been using these handles for a couple of weeks while I've been getting back into my hobby painting themselves, and to be quite honest, I wouldn't use anything else, even though they're slightly more expensive than the bandaging, but still do the same job by wrapping around the brush itself. But I just think these are far better. They're far more delicate to the touch. They're a bit more forgiving because they're foam, and just generally a better product. Generally something that's that I couldn't recommend enough for people suffering from problems with being able to grip hold of things, and to be needing something a bit more substantial to grip onto. But it's not just paintbrushes that we're going to be dealing with. Obviously there's the modeling tools that we use. So with the same handles, I've basically put them on a pair of my cutters. So I've got much more robust handle on my cutters for cutting me models off me sprues, etc., and doing my conversion and keep bashing work. And again, bit of godsend, because you don't realise that not only is your grip strength there for control about movement, but it's also there to allow you to cut things and all the rest of it. So anything I can have, or anything now that I do have, that's been able to make that job a little bit easier, has been a godsend over the last few weeks, and has really got me to the point now where hobbying, painting, modelling is now back on the table, and I can really go forwards and use the hobby for its benefit, and we all know that it's going to help with in the long run. Now, there are a lot of companies that offer other solutions, so I just thought to myself, well, let's see, finally what we could use that's out there that's probably come to market. Now, at the Games Expo a few months ago now, AK Interactive had the release of their paint markers. So these pens, these nibbed pens that were filled with acrylic paints that were being as a new solution for miniature painting. Now, I didn't pick any up at the time because all they had was the full Regalia set, and I'm also always one who's want to try a couple of them before I go in full hog with any product. But luckily enough, my local hobby store got some of the smaller sets in, and these are half a dozen different colours in a pack. So this pack had the standard black, white, greys and stuff like that. So it's always going to be one of those ones that can be used in various instances, even if I'm not going to use it for more generalised miniature painting. Now, obviously, the benefit of these are that, again, they're slightly more robust and slightly thicker than the standard paintbrush in the handle itself, because of obviously them containing a set amount of paint. So it makes it a little bit easier to hold onto, and they're very much akin to being the same size as the ferrules were on those initial brushes that we looked at with the specialist handles. It's another solution, but again, it's a solution that's going to cost X amount of money for you to put together for yourselves. So again, with myself, I've already got paint. Do I really need to go into the venture of collecting a new set of paints, a new style of paint, to be able to do my hobby, or can I just spend the £5 on foam handles and be well away with the stuff that I've already got? Solution is up to you. Whether I, by using the paint markers a bit more often, I find out that they're far better for me. I couldn't say, because not a lot of us can tell which solution is going to work for us in the long run, and it's only because of general use that we're going to be able to understand which solution is going to be the best for us. Again, thanks now for watching this video, and hopefully it's been something that's maybe offered a solution for you if you are struggling. If not, somebody who is, maybe share the video with them, and hopefully we can point in the right direction. If you are yourself suffering with the same instance, and you have another solution that you think we might be overlooking, or something that's worked for you in the long run, then please put it into the comments below, or be interested in joining over on our Patreon, where we could share these solutions with other people, and they can be stored in such a way that it makes it easier for people to find these various bits and pieces that we look at. If not, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will be able to drop a like and maybe hit that subscribe button at the bottom. And if not, hopefully we'll be back in the near future with another idea about alleviating the problems and using, again, our hobby as a therapy that we all know it can be. Cheers, guys. I'll see you next time.